Welcome to today's guest speaker event. You will all receive 1 credit for attending, and attendance will be taken later in the event. We'll make an announcement when attendance is available on the portal. Today's guest speaker is Mr. Duncan Kirkwood, a speaker, veteran, and global resilience advocate. He hopes to inspire you guys to be the best version of yourselves. He will be speaking about important tools and tactics the students can use to reach their full potential. Mr. Kirkwood, you may begin your presentation.
Good afternoon, good afternoon. First, I want to say thank you all for having me. Again, my name is Duncan Kirkwood. I am a global resilience advocate, a trainer, a speaker, an author, and I'm really, really excited to bring this message. I talk to young people around the country around how to find their passion, how to build resilience, how to find their purpose. But today we're going to focus on resilience, how to overcome setbacks, and I'm going to share a little bit about my own personal life journey and setbacks I've overcome. And hopefully you can take some lessons from that to apply to your life. And then we'll do some question and answer. All right. So again, my name is Duncan Kirkwood, and I am so excited to talk to the Plano East National Honor Society students. Like, you guys are the cream of the crop. Students are leading this effort. Students are putting this together. And I'm just really, really honored that you all chose me to come bring you a message of resilience. And it's timely because, listen, this has been quite the year, y'all. Like, we need resilience skills and tactics more than ever, especially you all, right? Your generation has had to deal with the pandemic, drive-by birthdays, celebrations have been shut down, everything is closed, school is virtual, then it's in person, then it's hybrid, right? It's been a lot of anxiety and frustration. And then in Texas, y'all had a snowstorm, right? Y'all just recovering from a snowstorm that came out of nowhere. So it's been impactful to yourselves, your families. And so the resilience skills I'm hoping today that I can give you and at least get you thinking about that you can take with you and that will build you as you move forward on your journey. So that's the goal. That's what we want to do today. I want to have the mindset. I use the metaphor of like riding a bike. Okay. So when you're young and you're, learning how to ride a bike, you got your mom or your grandparent or your aunt, and they're holding the seat for you, right? You're pedaling, they're holding the seat. And eventually they let go. And when they let go, what happens? You fall, right? Then you get up, your knees hurt, or, you don't like falling. You might be crying or upset, but you get back on the bike and you try again. And they hold the seat for you and you start pedaling and they let go. You get a little further and then you fall again. And this happens over and over. And at one point, you'll look up and you say, wow, I went the entire block, right? And that's really how life is. That's the mentality I want people to have as you approach life, that you're going to fall and fall and fall, and you just keep getting back up. But here's the most important part about that. Falling is actually how you find your balance. Let me say that again. Falling is actually how you find your balance when you're learning to ride a bike. The same thing is true in life. The failures, the setbacks are actually how you find the success that you're looking for in life. Now listen, all of you all, you're the cream of the crop, right? You all are self-identified student leaders. You all are self-identified hard workers. Your grades are amazing. You're college bound. Y'all ready to take over the world, right? But here's the thing that you may or may not be mentally prepared for, which is on that path to success that you've written out, that you've scripted, that you have all planned out. There's going to be a whole bunch of setbacks. You're going to be knocked down by things you didn't even know could happen. And you have to make the choice to get up and keep moving forward. You have to make the choice to keep pressing on and keep moving towards your goal. And sometimes that's going to be difficult. But I want you to remember that you have already overcome so much to get to where you are right now. Right? So you already have the skills But as you get higher in your climb to success, the setbacks are bigger. They hit you harder. I was watching what was it? First Things First. I was watching this First Things First on Fox Sports, right? And there was a NASCAR driver, Michael McDowell. He won the NASCAR 500, okay? And he was so excited and humble, and they were asking him, how did you do it? How did you win the NASCAR 500? Because normally it's the same, handful of folks, but he's like the new guy who won it. And they're like, how did you do it? He said, it means so much to me because I lost 350 races before I won this one. Let me say that again. He said he lost 350 times. And it ain't just him. He got a mechanic. He has a engineer. He's got sponsors. He got a whole team of people. And he got the whole team up. They travel to a new city. They practice, they race, they lose. 350 times. Are you committed to your goal enough to lose 350 times? That's what it's going to take for you all to achieve the level of success that's already in you, that you all want to achieve, that you're already on the path for. You got to be willing to get knocked down and knocked down and knocked down up to eventually get to the highest point in your goals and your journeys that you want to get to. 350 times. That's powerful, right? So that's the energy we want you to have. As you're going through college, as you're going to get your PhDs and your law degrees and all this great stuff you're going to do, know that you're going to have these setbacks and you just got to keep overcoming, keep moving forward, keep going and not stop. When I was in the military, I served as a resilience trainer. I'll talk a little bit about that in a while. But one of the things that soldiers learn, right, is they call it the warrior ethos. But I call it, for young people, the college success pledge. All right. So these are the things that if you say them and if you internalize them, they will get you through the storm, right? Number one, I will always place my mission first. Number two, I will never accept defeat. Number three, I will never quit, right? So wherever you are, whether you at a coffee shop, you at home, you driving in the car, I'm going to say them and I want you to say them out loud. Somebody next to you might be like, what are they talking about? Don't worry about it. I want you to actually say them out loud. I will always place my mission first. I will never accept defeat. I will never quit. Let me tell you what that means, right? I will place my mission first means if my mission, right, is to get an A on the test and have a 4.0 my first semester in college, if my mission is 4.0 first semester in college, right, that's your mission. That means when your friends say, hey, we're going to party, you say, no, I'm not going to the party tonight. I'm going to study. Right? Your friends say, no, this is the third night in a row. We're doing all the parties. We got to hit every party. Come on, it's third night. You're like, no, I already been to one. I got to study. I'm trying to get an A. I'm trying to get 4.0. That's I will place my mission first. Your mission, your goal becomes the priority over all other things. The second thing is I will never accept defeat. That's important because you're going to be defeated. You're going to be knocked down. That's going to happen. It happens to everybody. But you have the choice to accept that defeat or not. So the second piece is I will never accept defeat, right? So I might have got knocked down or I might have got a C on a test I thought I really studied for, but I'm going to keep working and keep trying until I get that A. That's I will never accept defeat. And I will never quit means I believe in myself enough that I won't quit until the mission is done. I won't quit until I achieve my goals. I'm good enough. I'm strong enough. I'm smart enough to see it through and achieve the goal that I set. That's I will never quit. So that's the kind of college success pledge I'd like for you all to take with you on your journey and to try to internalize that energy. All right. So speaking of journeys, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. They asked me, said, Duncan, tell us a little bit about your journey as well. So I grew up in the inner city in Buffalo, New York, and it was, tough neighborhood, all of that stuff. And I was going to a really good high school, but I was only, kind of applying myself. I wasn't like y'all. I wasn't National Honor Society scholar. I was just there at high school. And so because of that, I did not get accepted to my first choice. I did not get accepted to my second choice in college. I got accepted to the third choice. All right. And here's why that's important. Number one, it showed me that you got to work hard. You have to give your best all the time if you want the best. But that setback actually put me in a better position to be successful, because I wanted to go to Oswego, which is a college here in New York, and I wanted to go to Fredonia, which was a college here in New York. Both of them are big on journalism programs, because at the time I wanted to be a journalist, right? But because I didn't go there, I went to my third option, which was still a good school, and I was able to really shine because I had my first option level knowledge. The college I wanted to go to, I had the knowledge to succeed and excel in that college, but I went to my third option. So I took that mentality to the third choice, and I was able to shine in college, right? And let me tell y'all, I loved college, right? I loved it, but I got everything I could out of it. I wanted to maximize that experience, all right? I told you I wanted to major in journalism. So I wanted to be like this news reporter who breaks the stories, like the politicians or the companies. I wanted to speak truth to power and let everybody know what was going on. So I get to college, I'm all set, I'm majoring in journalism. And after the first semester, I realized this ain't for me, right? I realized that this is just not gonna work out. I was writing for the student newspaper. It just did not work for me. So I ended up having to change my major, right? Which ultimately meant I was gonna have to stay in college an extra semester or possibly an extra year. That's a setback. I'm not gonna graduate in 4 years like everybody else, or the scripted way that you do things. That's a setback for me. But it ended up being an incredible opportunity, because by the time I got to my 4th year, I had kind of figured it all out. So at that point, I ran for student government president. So I became the student government president at my college, and student government president, vice president. They get free tuition and room and board. So that 5th year, I actually got to go to college for free, and I got to travel the country speaking, and it really launched my speaking career while I was still in college, all because I had an extra year after I had kind of figured out who I was and what I wanted to do. Right, so that's just one example. Another thing, when I was a freshman, I wanted to pledge this fraternity. So in my college, fraternities were big. I don't know what schools y'all are going to go to, but in my college, like being a part of one of the top fraternities was like the be all end all. All right. So I go to this guy, I'm 6 foot. He's like 5'4", 5'5", like a short guy. And so I said, excuse me, sir, we're having like organizational fair day, and all these organizations have tables. And I was like, I'm interested in being a part of this fraternity. He looks up at me because he's short. He looks up at me, got his arms crossed, got his suit on, and he says, what's your GPA? I said, it's a 2.4. Now at this point, I'm a freshman. I've been partying, all of this stuff, right? And so I got a 2.4. I'm average. And he responds to me, he's looking up at me. He says, get it to a 3.0 and then come back and talk to me. And then he walked away. I'm like, I couldn't believe that he just, I don't want to say disrespected me, but he really just called me to the carpet to say, you're not good enough doing the minimum. And so that was a setback. I didn't get to pledge that year, right? So because of that, it gave me the catalyst, the energy to go and get my grades up. So next year, when I came back to apply for the organization, I had a 3.1. And then the next year, because I got in, I had that same energy of like wanting to work harder and better my grades. I ended up graduating with a 3.7 and student body president. All of that because he said what you was doing was not good enough. So another setback launched me and changed the trajectory of my life. Y'all get the theme of how what I'm saying, y'all? Each of these experiences, I'm having setbacks in life, but I'm continuing to move forward, and it's launching me into another place I never even knew that I could get to. So fast forward. So I get ready to graduate college. I've been doing all of this speaking. I'm the student body president. I'm like, ready to take over the world. And I started applying for jobs, right? I'm applying for all these jobs. And the companies are saying, we want you to have 3 to 5 years experience and a college degree. And I'm like, how do you have 3 to 5 years experience and a college degree? So I'm like applying, I'm 50, 60, 70 jobs. I'm not getting calls back. I might interview for 1 or 2, but I don't get it because I don't have the experience. So I'm really disappointed, frustrated. So I ended up saying, you know what? I'm gonna join the military. I'm gonna go to the Army so then they can pay for my graduate degree, and at least I know what's next for me in life. So I had the setback of not getting these jobs that I was applying for. So I ended up joining the military. Well, after I joined the military, they taught me to be a resilience trainer because there was this need to train soldiers to overcome veteran suicide and veteran depression. So they trained me to be a resilience trainer, which ultimately, once I got out of the military, was the catalyst for me releasing my book, Rerouting Resilience Tools and Tactics, that I published this year, or last year rather. So do y'all understand what I'm saying is you're going to have setbacks. And in the moment, they don't always feel good. They don't always feel like you're going to make it through, or you can't always see where the journey is going to lead you, right? But if you keep moving forward, and if you do it with good energy and love and joy in your heart, you will have more opportunities and more success than you could ever imagine, y'all. And I'm talking about let me give you one last example, all right? So maybe about 2 months ago, a local community leader bought 200 copies of my book and said, I want to donate them to a local high school. So I go to the local high school and I say, we want to donate 200 copies of this book for the students here, and I'm going to do a training. The high school's like, this is awesome. Thank you so much. We're so excited. And in the school district, right, they tell the high school, we don't want the books, because the school district doesn't like that I'm like a parent advocate and I'm like always empowering parents and fighting the power. They don't like that. So they tell the school, we don't want his book on resilience. Our kids don't need it, which was like very, very troublesome. But anyway, so I'm like a little upset, like, dang, y'all that mad that I'm standing up for parents and families that y'all would do that? Okay, I didn't get mad. I didn't get on social media. I didn't start attacking nobody. I just kept moving forward. The mayor of the city called me the next day. He had heard what happened. He said, will you donate those books to the summer youth program? I said, yeah. So we do this big press conference. We donate these books to the mayor's summer youth program. It's all great. I take that video and I send it to the McDonald's Corporation in Pennsylvania and West Virginia and say, y'all should buy 1,000 copies of my book so we can give to teens across Pennsylvania and West Virginia. They said yes. They saw the video of the mayor saying, we vetted this book, this program works, this is gonna help our kids, and the McDonald's Corporation approved it, so now I'm partnering with them across West Virginia and Pennsylvania. All because the school district, right, said no. The point I'm trying to get y'all to see is where you have adversity, where you have setbacks, where people try to undermine you, if you just keep moving forward, you keep grinding towards your goals, you're going to have more opportunities. You're going to be stronger. You're going to be smarter, and you're going to ultimately get to the success you wanted and beyond. You know, I tell people, I say, listen, y'all, everybody has setbacks. It's not unique to one person, or, you know, social media have you fooled, right? Social media make you think everybody's life is perfect, but it's not. You comparing your behind the scenes to other people's highlight reel, and that's just not healthy. It's not healthy at all, because everybody's going through setbacks, especially now. I tell young people, live your life like a GPS. You know, if you program a route into your GPS and you have a roadblock or there's traffic or you make a wrong turn, the GPS doesn't break down. It doesn't call mom crying. It doesn't get on social media and start venting, right? The GPS just says rerouting. And as long as you are willing to move forward towards your goal, towards your destination, the GPS is going to continue to chart you a course to get there. Live your life like that. No matter what obstacles happen, no matter what goes on, don't break down. Just continue to reroute and move forward towards your goal. Here's the most important part, though. Check this out, y'all. When you put a destination in a GPS, it might have 30 turns to get you to that destination, but they only give you one at a time. They don't say turn left, then turn right, then turn left, then make a U-turn, then turn. No, they just say 300 feet, turn left. So while you're on your journey, you may not be able to see all the things that's coming, good, bad, or ugly. All you got to do is take the first step. Take the first step, take that action, and it's going to propel you to the next, and before you know it, you'll be at your goal. So listen, with that, I'm going to pause. I want to stop there because I want to do a giveaway, and then I want to open it up for questions, all right? So for the giveaway, this is what we're going to do. I have a workbook that summarizes what we talked about today, and it goes into depth about some other things that set you up for success in college. I'm going to give away that for free to everyone who is watching. All you have to do is go to my website, duncankirkwood.com, go to the bottom, I got a logo there. You click the logo, it'll ask you to do a review, and then you can download the workbook. I'm only going to leave it up there to be free for the next 2 hours. So everybody needs to go to the website. Once we get done here, I'll do question and answer. But after that, go to the website, click the logo, get you your free copy of this workbook. You're going to want to print it out and use it to go ahead and really kick off your college career with passion, perseverance, and purpose. So with that, I'll say thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope that you all have enjoyed my remarks. I hope it's helped you on your journey. And now I want to open it up for questions.
All right, thank you so much. Attendance is now open on the portal, and if you're having any issues, we'll have a form on the Google Classroom afterwards. But our first question is, what's your favorite experience, or just any experience from college that has shaped you to be who you are today?
That's a great question. So when I was a freshman in college, I was sprung over this girl. Okay. And when I say sprung, I mean, I was totally in love. I'm talking about sad puppy dog sprung over this girl. And the school was about, I couldn't believe it. Because in my mind, I really didn't believe, I didn't really know it was possible for young people to come together, speak in one voice, and create change. So for me, that was really significant, because once I saw that that's possible, I started looking at life differently. So I didn't feel like a victim anymore. I felt like where there were problems and challenges, I had an ability and a responsibility to create changes and create solutions. So after we won on that issue, then I started, okay, we need to win on this issue. We need to go to the trustees about this. We need to do that. I ended up suing the city of Montgomery to protect voting rights when I was a senior. I've worked in a lot of social justice organizations around trying to, support the fight for equality and justice all through my life. And it was really that moment that kicked all of that off, once I saw that it's possible for people to create change.
The next question is, have you always been a good speaker? And if not, how did you improve?
So no, absolutely not. I told you I grew up in the inner city of Buffalo, New York, right? So, the extent of my speaking in high school was like singing rap lyrics from Jadakiss and the Lox. Okay, so that I was not like some great speaker. Here's how I became a good speaker. This is the secret. Now, normally I don't tell people this secret because I don't need 5 million great speakers out there. I want to be like unique, so people want me to come talk, right? Here's the secret though, okay? If you want to be a good speaker, you see that I paused for effect right there, okay? Go do karaoke. That's the secret. Go with your friends and go do karaoke. Go sing songs that you barely know the words to in front of a group of strangers. Once you get to the point where you're not scared and nervous to do that, you can become a good speaker. Because public speaking is like one of the top fears of all people living on the planet Earth. So it's not that Duncan's some great speaker or this other person, it's that they're not afraid. They have overcome the fear of speaking in front of people, being judged, being critiqued. We've overcome, not to say that we don't have the fear, we have overcome that fear. I still get butterflies when it's time to speak in public or talk to people. Shoot, I was practicing all morning, working my speech and my thoughts to talk to you all, right? But it's the fear that stops most people. So once you overcome that fear, it's fine. You talk all day. We talk all day, right? You talk to your friends, you talk to your family. So speaking is natural, but it's the public speaking that makes us nervous. So that's the secret. You want to be a good public speaker, you have to overcome the fear. The easiest way to do that is to go do karaoke. Go do karaoke a few times until you are no longer nervous to sing in front of a bunch of strangers. And then you'll be ready to be a good speaker.
The next question is, who was your role model when you were growing up?
That's a really good question. Yeah, that's a great question. When I was growing up, I guess, celebrity-wise, Tupac, you know what I mean? Like Tupac really always spoke truth to power. And then really, I was fortunate, I had an older brother, I had my father, I had like men in my family who were just involved in the community. They weren't like celebrities, they weren't super famous, they just, believed in themselves, like they just actually believed in themselves. And, that's really rare where I come from. where like grown men like believe that they can have better, they can have more, and then they do the work to make it happen. So I guess my brother and my dad were like my role models because I just saw them like going for it. They just believed in it. They said like, I'm gonna do this, and then they would do it. So I think those were my like actual role models if I had to name them. But celebrity wise was like Tupac, because he would speak up, and I was always like so impressed because I would wonder, why don't people who look like me talk about issues that really affect me with their platforms when they're super mega rich and everything? But he did, right? And I had never seen anyone ever really do that so consistently. And I mean, I'm sure there were people, but I hadn't, experienced that. So for me, that really like gave me the push to want to do something about the problems that I saw and the challenges that I faced. But I still really, at that point in my life, was just kind of admiring it. I wasn't ready to step into that space myself. That was a great question, by the way. Thank you.
The next question is, how do you find energy to keep moving forward, especially after setbacks?
Oh, great question. So I do like a whole training on this. You have to learn how to become present. Here's the thing. The setback happened, but that reality no longer exists, right? It's like the past is not something that is real anymore. So the only way that your energy can be like defeated is if you are letting your energy be connected to the past. So even if that setback happened 2 days ago, that was 2 days ago. The earth was 100 million miles away 2 days ago, or 100,000 miles away 2 days ago, right? So it's like you were in another place. So focus on this moment. What can you do in this moment to move towards your goal? So if you get a setback where you thought you were going to get this job but you didn't get it, yeah, you could be like sad and it affects your energy and stuff like that. Or you could say, okay, in this moment right now, what can I do towards getting the job that I want or towards having a career I want? And then you do it, right? So you envision it and then you take a step. And you don't always have to know every step. Just be bold enough to take the first step. And as you take steps, the view changes, right? After you take the first step, oh, I didn't know that there was this. Okay, then you take the second and the third. Then all of a sudden you find out there are other organizations that do A, B, and C. And now, you just grow. But you gotta be willing to, in this moment, be present. Like, it's the hardest thing to do because our ego is tied to the past and titles and roles and everything like that. But we have to ground ourselves in what's happening now. So like when you have a setback, yeah, it sucks away some of your energy. So you take a nap, play some video games, do whatever, go for a run, take you a deep breath, and then, okay, now what can I do in this new reality, in this moment right now? And then you just do it. And after a while of doing that, like, it's like muscle memory. Like, so then when setbacks come, you're just like, oh, setback happened. Okay, still moving forward. Oh, this didn't work out. Okay, still moving forward. And you kind of get used to it. So now it don't even drain my energy. If I have a setback, yeah, it sucks, but, moving on.
How do you overcome fear when trying something new?
Okay, this is so powerful. Whoever asked this question, you're awesome. All right. We as humans operate almost exclusively out of fear. Let me say that again. As normal people, we operate almost exclusively out of fear. Fear we're going to be judged. Fear we're not going to be successful. Fear we don't look good enough. We're not smart enough. Fear we might not make. Like, everything we do is almost always based out of fear. So overcoming that is one of the hardest things there is to do. What I say is, this is like my trick for myself, right? This is just like how I do it. The you that is planning for something is smarter than the you in that moment. So let me give you an example. I want to jump out of an airplane and go skydiving. I want to have that experience. In this moment, I'm smarter than I'm going to be when it's time to go get on that airplane, right? At that moment, I would experience some real fear and some real challenges. So what I say is, when you're planning, right, you plan for what's going to happen. You set that. You don't let the fear of what you're experiencing in that moment, that anxiety, that tension in your body, don't let that overcome you. Just drag yourself forward. Like, you just do it. It's one of those things that when you're afraid to reach, and let me backtrack. Operating out of fear is one of the worst things ever. Like I saw your high school. Your high school is beautiful. My high school didn't look nothing like that. So when I grew up, for me, operating out of fear looked like all I could do, if I could have a good life for me would be me making $50,000. That would, to me, when I was in college, I'm in college thinking if I could get a job that I like, making $50,000, I could have a good life. That's what operate out of fear looks like, because it stops me from reaching further because I'm afraid I might not get it. Does that make sense? So to overcome that fear, because now I look at myself and say, wow, how sad is that my thought process, I only could envision making $50,000 as a ceiling in my life. Right now, I couldn't even imagine going back to only making that. You know what I'm saying? And so it's one of those things where you have to just be bold enough in your own space to just reach for what's impossible. Say you want to be a millionaire. Say you want to be the president of a hospital. You don't want to just be a teacher. You want to be the principal of 4 schools and write curriculum. You don't want to just be a lawyer. You want to be the managing partner with your name on the wall. Get used to saying the great things that you want out of life. Get used to it. Practice it. And then eventually, even though you're afraid, you'll still be willing to take those steps and step out of your comfort zone. Great question. Y'all got some questions. Come on, keep them coming. I'm here for it.
What was a challenge that you encountered in your life that you weren't sure you could get over, but you did?
I think that's a good, man, okay. A challenge I didn't think I could get over. I didn't think that I could finish my master's degree. Okay, let me tell you something. That was hard. Okay, because college was awesome. I don't know if your teachers and your staff members there are telling y'all, you focus on the academics, but the social side of college was the greatest thing ever. Okay, college is amazing. Like you don't know yet, but y'all gonna find out. All right. So once I finished my college degree and I was starting my master's degree, it's a whole different world. Okay, when you go to get your master's degree, ain't no parties, ain't no talent shows. The fraternities ain't having step shows when you get your master's degree, right? It is work, 4 hours, write 30-page papers every month, every couple of months, right? And it was just so difficult. I didn't know if I could change my mindset over to just schoolwork all the time to finish that degree. So I had some challenges there, but I had to get it, right? The Army told me, we're going to pay for it up to a certain date. So I had a date that I had to hurry up and get these credits before my, the tuition assistance that they provided was going to run out. So that helped me create the urgency that dragged myself through, even though there were some really difficult times.
What are your tips on maintaining a high energy life?
You got to do stuff that gives you joy. So one of the challenges that we have is we all have these egos where we compare who we are. We find our value in comparison to other people, right? So you look at your car and you're like, my car is really nice. It's nicer than everybody else's, so I'm special, right? Or my house or my clothes, whatever, right? So we look at our value in comparison to other people's. And that is just solely unhealthy. And it drains your resilience. It drains your energy. So how you find the energy is you do things that genuinely give you joy, right? So I make a whole bunch of money, right? But on my MacBook, I got Dragon Ball Z stickers all on my computer, right? I got a backpack that I carry my laptop in. It's got patches on them from Dragon Ball Z, Zelda, Jurassic Park, right? I surround myself with things that give me energy, right? In my man cave, it doesn't look like a movie theater like everybody else's. Mine looks like an anime convention. I got a Tesseract, I got Loki's scepter. I just got all types of stuff because that's what gives me joy, right? I like to travel, so I travel. You got to prioritize giving yourself joy and surrounding yourself with the things that make you happy. So yeah, I got some LeBrons that cost $300, and I got some Balmains that cost $1,400, but I also got a pair of sneakers from Japan that got Vegeta's picture on them that cost $40. And I love them just as much, right? I don't tie my value to things, titles, and roles. I do what gives me joy. and I buy what gives me joy, and I spend my time with people who bring me joy. So if you just work on doing that all the time in your career as well, like whatever your job is, find something in that job that gives you joy and do that. Spend your energy doing that, or find a career that gives you joy. And when you do that, you'll always have energy. You see what I'm saying? Like you get your energy sucked out of you when you're around people who suck energy out of you, or you're around, or you work in a job that you hate and you just like working a job just because, right? That's what drains your energy. You know, I'm speaking to young people and I'm helping y'all on y'all journey to go be great and take over and change the world, right? That's awesome. Well, I could wake up any day and do that and feel joy and get energy out of it. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I speak for myself. How I get energy every day is I do things that bring me joy. So like I'm speaking to y'all right now. I'm being real candid. I'm being 100% honest with you. I'm speaking to you all in a studio with a producer. We worked really hard to put this presentation together, right? But in 3 hours, me and my 4 friends are going to play Monopoly for 4 or 5 hours, and we're going to trash talk each other, and we're going to have a good time, okay? That's because that brings me joy. Right now, you can say, oh, you're a grown man. You should be, I don't know, reading the Business Insider. But that's not what I want to do. So you have to figure out in your life what brings you joy and then do that on a regular basis.
Someone asked, how do I know if something I want to do is a genuine and ambitious goal, or if it's just a pipe dream and I'm being too overconfident?
Thank you for that question. How you know is you ask yourself the follow-up question. Am I willing to do the work that it takes to achieve that goal? If you're not, then it's just a pipe dream. But if you say, you know what, just say your goal is, I want to open a school, right? Just say that's your goal. You want to open your own school in your own community one day. Okay. Are you willing to get your bachelor's, get your master's, get your administrative certificate, work with foundations, go through a fellowship to learn how school leaders operate, partner with community organizations, fundraise like crazy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, to open your school? Are you willing to do that? If the answer is yes, go for it. If the answer is no, don't even start. So that's how you know, you ask yourself that follow-up question. Because like for me, I always hear these good ideas. Like I am like one of those people, if I hear a good idea and it's good enough, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make it happen. I'm a make it happen person. But I have to ask myself, like, hey, I had this one idea, right? This great idea for an organization, a business. It will be great. It will make a lot of money. And I had to ask myself, am I willing to do all the work that it's going to take to make that successful? And I'm like, nah, not for real. So don't even start. Get that off my plate, move back, get back on track to my focus and my purpose.
Okay, this one is kind of a fun question. Which character from Dragon Ball is the most inspirational to you?
So the answer to that is an easy one, is Vegeta, okay? He has this never-ending, almost illogical belief in himself, okay? It's unbelievable how in the face of all adversity, he will stand up and say, I am Vegeta, the Prince of all Saiyans, and I'm not going to be defeated, right? When it's clear he has no chance at victory, he just refuses to bow down, all right? And so to me, every time I see that, I'm just like, oh, shoot, it's on now. He ready, you know? And so to me, he is by far the most inspirational character. Thank you for the fun question.
Someone asked, how do you motivate yourself, especially during this pandemic?
So that's a really good question. Listen, this pandemic has rocked people. People have lost their family members. They've been in isolation. They've been in quarantine. There's uncertainty. Schools are opening and closing. I mean, it's just, this has been really, really difficult. But there's another side to the pandemic. Now, I want to be respectful, and I'm being cautious how I say this, okay? Because I want to make sure we're respectful to the people who have been damaged and harmed with, losing their job or losing a family member through the pandemic, because that is real. I've lost family members as well, okay? But there's another side, because at no point in my life, I'm 35, have I ever had 4 straight months where there's nothing going on. 4 straight months of no community meetings, no going to church, no kids after school, dance class, no basketball games to go to, nothing. So that means that's a lot of extra time that you can use to do things that you always needed to do, wanted to do, dreamed of doing, because now you have the time. So what I did, I published my book, right? So I published my book and built my website, built all my branding materials, hired a publicist, started doing research, went on YouTube to learn how to do SEO and Google Analytics and all the type. Like, I built myself and my brand and company in that time, because there's no other time in my life I've had the time to do that, to just have it. So how I built motivation in the pandemic, I would say to you, figure out, okay, all this other stuff is canceled, all these setbacks you're dealing with, but what's something you've always wanted to do, right? Maybe you love doing nails, you always wanted to do a nail shop. Well, this is the time to do it. Make you a flyer, go on YouTube, learn how to do it, start you an LLC, open a bank account. Like, you can start the business now, or whatever your dream is, or whatever. You want to be a singer, you want to play basketball, whatever it is for you, you got an exorbitant amount of time now to go and become great at that thing. Or you could just watch TikTok all day, right? Like, so, or like, that's the choice. You could watch TikTok, which is cool. Follow me on TikTok at Duncan Kirkwood Speaks. Follow me on Instagram at Duncan Kirkwood. But you could use your time to scroll through social media and watch other people's lives, right? We spend 2 hours a day on average on social media watching other people's lives. Just so y'all know, 2 hours a day equals 30 full days a year that we spend watching other people's lives, right? So what I'm saying is, instead of using that time to watch other people's lives, maybe scroll for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and then put that time and effort into something to make your own dream come true. Because there's nothing like the energy you get than when you're working on your own dream. And for any of y'all young people who have any sense of what your purpose is, think of it like this. If you want to be a singer, right, and you go to the studio and you start recording a song, and it's just okay, so you got to re-record it. Then it gets a little better, and you keep going over and over. Then you add something in. Then you watch some YouTube videos. Then you get some ideas. Then you research, and you in there for 12, 13 hours. When you walk out as that singer, you feel good. Like, man, that was a good day. But if you work just 5 hours at Family Dollar and you hate it, right? That feels like the worst 5 hours ever. Like, it's murder, it's torture. So what I'm saying is, figure out what brings you joy, what can make your life great, what's your purpose, and start putting your energy and time into that. And whether it's a pandemic or not, you will have joy. Because guess what, y'all? Let me be the one to tell y'all. When COVID is over, when the pandemic is over, everybody's vaccinated, the world is back to normal, you still gonna have setbacks in your life. You still gonna have challenges. It's gonna be something else. Economic crisis, the housing market, this, justice, this. It's always gonna be challenges. But your willpower has to drive through all of the cross currents of life towards your path to success. And it needs to happen. And you can start right now. You need to start that now, where no matter what's going on, you are moving towards your goal every day, whatever you got to do. Pandemic, no pandemic. So how I get motivation in the pandemic, I just focus on doing stuff that, again, brings me joy, that I want to make. Let me tell you, I want to be a millionaire. I want to be like Eric Thomas and Tony Robbins, where I'm getting paid $50,000, $60,000 to go speak to jails and colleges and universities and students, right? But for me to get there, I got a lot of work to do to get there. So I'm doing it. And the pandemic, in a way, is a gift, because instead of it taking me 4 months to do something, because it's spread out, squeezed in between community meetings and after school this with my kids, now I can do all of that in 2 weeks, because I can focus and lock in. So lock in on your goal. Put your energy towards something that's going to bring you that return on investment.
What advice would you give yourself 10 years ago?
Oh, man. 10 years ago. So I'm 35, so I'll be 25. Okay. I would say write a book sooner. Right? I would say write a book sooner. And I would say reach higher, right? Like 10 years ago, I was 25. I thought I was like special and good and doing great stuff. I had graduated college in the military, working a really good job doing organizing. But I wish I could have told myself, Duncan, you should be preparing to create your own national organization, not just try to rise through the ranks of a bunch of different ones. You should be looking to create your own that will impact the country. And, I was working in education reform, so that would help fix the education system in the whole country. Like, that's what I should have been looking at then, so that by now I'll be fully going 100%, making the changes and passing laws across the country that I would have thought would have made a difference. So I would have said, start sooner, reaching higher would have been the advice that I would give myself.
What made you interested in what you do now? Was there a specific experience or person that mentored you or inspired you?
So first of all, I got a bunch of mentors, y'all. So listen, if you don't got a mentor, go find you a mentor. That's your first next assignment. Get you a mentor, all right? And you should get 2 or 3. And some of my mentors, I had to go find them. So I saw them doing their thing. I said, man, they are killing it. And I would call them, send them messages on Facebook until they would agree to have lunch with me. And we would talk, and by the end of the conversation, I said, so I need you to be one of my mentors, right? So like mentorship is so important because you don't know what you don't know, right? And so for me, I would say, for anybody, you can't see all the experiences that someone else has gone through, all the knowledge that they have. And so instead of having to go through it yourself to get it, if you get a mentor, they can fast track you. So for me, it wasn't like a moment where I said, I'm going to be a speaker, I'm going to be a consultant, because I do consulting for organizations around community engagement. It was kind of a process. Like I learned the skills, and then I got to a point where I said, now I'm going to do these for myself, not just for this company or this organization or this company. I would use them for myself. So it was like I say, it's like a journey. It's like steps. Where I had to become really good at it. And then now I can do it and get paid a lot of money for it because I'm an expert.
The next question is, how did you learn to make really important decisions?
So one thing that I learned, I love these questions. We can hang out for a while. I can do this all day. Well, not all day because I'm playing Monopoly later. But so how I learned to make important decisions. When I was in the military, they taught me something really important. They said, listen, this is how, because I was an officer, so I was like in charge of other soldiers and stuff. And they said, this is how you make decisions when it's real tough. Ready, fire, aim. Not ready, aim, fire. Ready, fire, aim, right? Because it's like, get ready, get in the best position you can, and then make a decision. And then if it's right, go forward, keep going. If it's wrong, readjust your sights. So that's kind of the idea. It's like, don't get caught in the analysis by paralysis or paralysis by analysis, right? Don't get caught in where you're too scared to make a decision either way because it's so tough. Don't do that. Take all the information you can, make a decision with that information. And then regardless of if it's the perfect decision or it needs to be tweaked or it's the wrong decision, you will learn something. And then you take the more information you get and you make a new decision. Right? Like, so you make tough decisions just by making it. Just make the decision and then work it to make it as successful as it can be and live with the results. And if it doesn't work out, then you just take that new information and make a different decision next time. Like, there's this idea that you got to be perfect, y'all. That don't exist. It don't exist. There's no situation where you make the right choice 100% of the time, 70% of the time, 50% of the time, right? Like, there's just no situation where you're perfect. Right? So stop even thinking that that's a thing, right? Take what information you get, take all the information, look at it, and then make the best decision you can at the time, and then move on, right? Just learn from it, grow from it, move on, and try to make that decision become the best decision. You're not always going to get it right. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay that you're not perfect. You still can be great, even though you made mistakes. You still can be successful, even though you had setbacks. You just have to be willing to continue to move forward no matter what.
Do you have any tips with dealing with burnout?
Oh yeah, I got all type of tips for burnout. So for me, I don't often get burned out because I love what I do. When you're doing stuff you love, you don't get burned out the same way. But I do have moments where I'm overwhelmed and I feel a little burnout action. So for me, I go take a nap. If I ever get to a point where like stuff is just like I'm overloaded, my mind is racing, I got weird energy from different spaces, I just say, you know what? I'm not going to sit in this negative energy. And I just go take a nap. And then when I wake up, I got like a clear head. It's like a reset for me for the day, right? But then also, I prioritize fun. So that's something that a lot of professionals don't do well. They like accidentally have fun, or they on occasion have fun. I prioritize fun like I prioritize business, right? So like I'm planning these different trips. I'm going to these different states to speak, right? So I'm prioritizing that. But I also, I'm going on a couple trips with my friends and some couples trips and stuff with my wife. And I'm prioritizing. I got that on the calendar, right? Like when I've got friends coming over tonight, like having fun is a priority to me. Enjoying my life is important to me. So I make it important by putting it on the calendar, blocking off time for different stuff. Like you have to create the world that you want. So how do you protect against burnout? You prioritize yourself and your self-care and joy in your life and finding that balance. But you got to do it. Nobody else can do it for you because the world will work you till you pass out, right? You got to be waiting to say, hey, I need a break. Hey, I need to go do something fun. You got to be in charge of that. You got to be the CEO of your own fun department. Your whole division of fun, you got to be the CEO, the scheduler, the banker, all of that. But once you take ownership of that, listen, if I told y'all all the projects that I have, you would be like, how do you find time to eat, Duncan? Right? Because I got so many different projects going. But if you looked at my actual life, you'd be like, how do you have so much time for fun and travel and family? Because I prioritize it. And so that's how I kind of protect against burnout.
What is the best advice you have ever received?
The best advice I have ever received. When I was a freshman in college, I was in this history class. Everybody fails this class. Like everybody knows it. Like half of the people fail every semester. And I'm debating this teacher, right? We talking about Christianity and religion and Africa and ancient Africa. And we having this full-blown debate in class, me and the professor, who clearly knows way more than me. I'm like a freshman, don't know nothing. But I'm like I'm smart. So I'm like debating with him after class. He says, Mr. Kirkwood, stay after class. He always called us by our last name. He said, Mr. Kirkwood, stay after class. So I stay after class. And he says to me, why aren't you a student leader? Right? And so I said, well, leaders have causes. I don't got no cause. I'm chilling. I'm just enjoying college, trying to be great in life, right? He said, you have the ability to be a voice for people who can't speak for themselves. And so you should be a student leader. And in that moment, I learned that like leading doesn't mean you're an expert at everything. Leading means you take responsibility for helping other people. And so that to me was the best advice I'd ever gotten. Because when I left there, I went and joined student government as a student senator in college, second semester of my freshman year. So that moment was a big moment for me as far as advice goes.
I think this is going to be our last question, but do you see taking risks as a good or a bad thing, and why, for whichever stance you take?
Gotcha. So I think taking risks professionally, let's say it like that, is like a good thing, right? Like, don't go be risky and try crystal meth, right? Like, don't do that. All right. That's a risk. Don't do that. Okay. I'm saying take risks like trying a career or applying for a job or, taking a course to learn a new language or something like that. Like, it's important to take risks. And the risk is like, it's got almost a negative connotation to it, right? Like taking this big risk. I would say it's more like stepping out your comfort zone, right? Or taking advantage of opportunities. Like I would phrase it differently because I take risks all the time. Like I try stuff, I go for stuff, but it doesn't feel like there's a negative side to it. Either I'm gonna get it or I'm gonna learn something. Those both are wins, right? So there's no like negative side when I'm looking at taking a chance. Like, I ran for public office. I ran to be an elected official in my county. And I had a whole campaign, the banners, speeches, we having rallies, like the balloons, you know what I'm talking about? Like the whole thing. And I lost. So some people could say it's a risk to run for office because the powers that be don't want candidates running, all of that stuff. But like to me, it was just, I wanted to try to make a difference in that way. So I tried it. And you either win or you learn something. I didn't win, but I learned a bunch of stuff. And it springboarded my career into other opportunities in other places I didn't even know existed. So, yes, and take risks, but don't think of it in like this risky behavior type of positive or negative consequence way. Think of it as like trying something new, stepping out your comfort zone, and you either win or you learn something. And if you think of it with that mentality, it'll take the anxiety away from those type of choices.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Kirkwood, and to the members, thank you for attending. Make sure you do the attendance either on the portal or with the link on Google Classroom, and you can also find information about the giveaway on there. Thank you so much, and this is the end of the event.